recording on this computer. That means for those who have not come the last days, please, I would like to ask you, please leave your email address. So we would like to send you all the positions that we have done during the last 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and today. The recording will be on our YouTube channel, so you will receive also all the information. And in case people would like to consider to sit exams, then we will help you through until you are able to sit the practical exams at one of our championships. So we would like to ask you send your email in this chat, and then we have the contact that we need for you. And now I will share the screen.
8 avril de l'an 1300.
Are you able to see this? Can somebody verify?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, all right. So the responsibility of the competition speaker and the timekeeper. Okay, I can hear the French, and I see that because there's no micro, he cannot switch it off. So the crucial role of the competition speaker. The competition speaker sets the tone of the competition by conveying the progress of the competition to the athletes, the team officials, and team officials, we mean the coaches, the technical officials, that's all the positions, and of course the audience. And we must not forget, we have live streaming as well. Must converse fluently in English and in the local language, if possible. Experience in weightlifting competitions must be, that means the basic rules must be included. Jean-Paul, I'm hearing too much French in the back and it disturbs my recording. Sorry to say, but we cannot have French in the back of the recording. I don't know if you can go somewhere where there is no talking in French in the back. That would be good. Thank you. So converse fluently in English and the local language, if possible. Experience in weightlifting competitions. Clear and concise delivery. That means of the athletes. A good microphone voice is very important because somebody who doesn't have a good voice, it just doesn't stick. It's very difficult. And of course, the ability to engage the audience. The competition speaker must ensure that the coach and the athlete understands when the athlete's name has been called up. So that means he or she must become familiar with the correct pronunciation of the athlete's name and nation. You go in a warm-up area as a speaker, you have the protocol sheet with all the names of the athletes of that session on you, and you go to each athlete and ensure that you know how to pronounce the athlete's name and the nation. So then the speaker gets ready for the presentation of the athletes, and the presentation is done after the technical controller has gathered the athletes in a warm-up area based on the protocol sheet. That means based on the start number of the athletes. Yeah. So it must match with what the speaker has on the table. The protocol sheet must be observed correctly. So then, while the technical controller takes the athletes on the stage for presentation, the speaker announces then, welcomes everybody at the championship title, the date, and then the session number, the age group or groups, because we have, sometimes we have different age groups together and also body weight categories together. Each athlete's full name and nation, the age group, and body weight category. And usually on the protocol sheet, you have that separate. If not, based on the competition system that you are using, make note as a speaker so that you can separate them. And then announcing the 10 minutes of the clock until the actual start of the competition. And when you say that, the timekeeper, if it is not you, will then have to start the clock as soon as the athlete have left the competition platform. Then the presentation of the technical officials start. While the athletes have been presented, then the technical officials need to line up in the warm-up area. And then after the athletes have come down, the technical controller takes the technical officials to the beginning of the competition platform and then goes in line according to the list who needs to be called first. So in Masters weightlifting, we do say the full names and the nation. The IWF doesn't do the nation anymore because it says you are as technical official, you are impartial and you are working for the IWF or EWF for that matter. So there is no nation calling anymore, but we do that. We continue to use the nations. So center referee first, side referee should be the left one, and then the side referee right one. After the chief marshal and the assistant marshal, technical controller, timekeeper, and doctor on duty. Then the duty of the speaker is to make the appropriate announcements for the efficient running of the competition for each attempt, including but not limited by the following order, as soon as the 10 minutes have started. Okay, when the competition starts. Instructions to the loaders to load the required weight, the full name of the athlete's respective nation, the number of the athlete's attempt, then notification in advance of the name of the next athlete, and the 1 or 2 minute time available. And when the lift has been done, automatic increment if not higher weight has been declared yet, and then got the referee's decision of a good lift or a no lift. And please be reminded, we are not using beep numbers. By a 1 minute attempt, to request the timekeeper to stop the clock when the athlete's coach changes the weight within the first 30 seconds. And by a 2 minute attempt, to request the timekeeper to stop the clock when the athlete or the coach changes the weight until the last 30 seconds. When a lifter retires from the competition before the end of the session, this must be announced by full name and nation. It keeps the audience informed by the progress of the competition and more in-depth information about the athletes. It also requests the timekeeper to stop the clock when the athlete or coach changes the weight. And once the loaders leave the competition platform, the speaker announces the new declared weight, full name, nation, and attempt of the lifter again. In case of an injury, the competition speaker must call immediately the doctor on duty. So following also to instruct the loaders to stand in front of the injured athlete, blocking the audience and camera view of the athlete. So there's no need to have drama all over the news, yeah, and in the competition hall. In case of a problem, the speaker should not panic. Just announce that you are taking a technical stop and you click on the technical stop of your competition system in front of you. Call for technical support to have the issue resolved as soon as possible. So that can happen to any higher standard championships. So, don't beat yourself up. And whenever you are ready, announce that the technical issue has been resolved and that the competition can continue. In Masters weightlifting, we might end up with shorter sessions, but also with very big sessions. So the competition speaker announces the break time between the snatch and the clean and jerk, and that means 10 minutes if there are 6 and more athletes in a session. 15 minutes if there are actually -6. That means 5 athletes or less in a session. And then we have 5 minutes only if we have 15 plus athletes in a session. In case of a technical stop or a jury stop, this also must be announced. The technical controller will communicate to the competition speaker any issue, and this must be announced immediately so that everybody, especially the athlete and the coach, are fully aware and informed. So in a jury stop, if the jury overturns a lift, the technical controller informs the competition speaker, who must then announce the reason of the jury's reverse decision, the full name of the athlete, the number of the attempt, and the weight on the barbell. Here we have an example of a technical stop from the jury table shown on speaker screen. You can see on the speaker screen, it says technical stop jury. Then you know. Then the technical controller called to jury table shown on speaker screen. You see then the TC report to jury. And then finally, TC reports to marshal. That means the technical controller called to marshal table shown on the speaker screen. That means whatever is happening between the positions, when the technical controller or the jury needs to move or needs to inform something, the speaker is always fully aware from the laptop in front of him or her. At the end of the session, the victory ceremony comes. So upon the conclusion of the competition of each category, the victory ceremony is held as soon as possible according to a following procedure. At first, an erected 3-step medal podium will be placed by the loaders with places for the 3 medal winners. Then all the medal winners, the medal bearers, and the officials presenting the medals march in and take their place on the stage. And then the medal winners line up behind the erected medal podium. Then the competition speaker announces the medal winners, starting always from the 3rd place, the bronze medal winner, never from the gold medalist, always from the 3rd place. And then giving the full name, the nation, age group, body weight category, and of course the total achieved. In case a record has been achieved, then the record will also be announced. And then calling up for all to rise for the national anthem of the gold medalist. At the end, announcing the next session based on a time schedule. So here we have come to the end of the speaker.
Probably in the flask one.
Now.
All right.
It's a bit strong.
Right. Do you have any questions regarding the competition speaker?
Nice out today.
Andy, we can hear you talking with your wife. Hi, Trisha.
Sorry, she said hi.
Yes. So if you can you mute your micro then?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was on.
No problem. Right. Any questions? Okay, I don't get any questions, so we continue with the timekeeper. So here I share my screen again, and we go with the timekeeper. You're all able to see it? Yeah, can somebody
Yeah. Yes, we can see it.
Now, the timekeeper starts a 10-minute clock upon the session completion of athlete introductions. As I said, as soon as the athletes are leaving the competition platform or the podium as such, the 10 minutes starts. And as I said in the very beginning, at our championships, mostly we don't have the timekeeper separately from the competition speaker. It is usually one and the same person. Then the technical officials' introductions take place during this 10 minutes time period before the start of the competition of that session. The timekeeper starts the clock giving 1 minute the moment the speaker finishes announcing the weight, name of the athlete, or when the barbell is loaded and the loaders have left the platform, whichever is last. The timekeeper cannot start the clock until at least the name of the athlete is announced and of course, the loaders are off the platform. The competition systems nowadays. Can somebody please mute the micro so that we don't have any interruption in this recording? That would be good. Thank you. So the timekeeper cannot start the clock until at least the name of the athlete is announced and the loaders are off the platform. The timekeeper starts the clock giving 2 minutes if a lifter follows him or herself immediately to the next attempt. And here please be reminded that the Masters Adaptive lifters, they're entitled to 3 minutes. That must be input manually because the competition system is not built for the 3 minutes. It's built for 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, this has to be done manually and it will be shown to you. Other than that, we have competition systems who are semi-automatic and others who are very automatic. That means very automatic that you don't need to put a 1 or a 2 minute clock for the lifters because it's automatic. And some competition system, it's semi-automatic. That means that the timing clock is running, but you need to put the 1 or the 2 minute in first. But it will go automatically to the every 30 seconds. So become aware, make yourself familiar with what competition system you are working with. The timekeeper stops the timing clock immediately as the barbell is raised from the competition platform. No, not until it reaches high knee. As soon as the barbell is lifted from the competition platform, you stop the clock. In case the barbell has been raised and replaced back on the competition platform before reaching the high of the knees, the timekeeper must restart the clock so that the time continues. It must continue from the time, from the 1 minute, the actual 1 minute given. So don't give an extra minute, a new one. It's the continuation of that minute, the clock that you stopped before, from the original 1 or 2 minute given. The lifter is allowed to lift the barbell within his or her time given. So I say it again. When a lifter returns the barbell back on the competition platform and has not reached the high of the knees, you continue the clock of that first original 1 minute or 2 minute given by this athlete. You don't give a fresh new 1 or 2 minutes to the athlete. There are times when there are numerous changes of athletes and weight resulting in subsequent new clocks. And please remember, whenever the clock starts for an athlete, then that changes the sequence of the athlete. As long as the clock hasn't started, the same athlete that has actually originally been called up will be still number 1. And we have many times that many changes are coming in, and because the clock hasn't started yet, we end up actually with the same lifter who was supposed to go first and started to make changes as well. Then the same lifter actually goes on the competition platform, but with a new declared weight. So pay attention to the original athlete as frequently after the changes, the original athlete will be back up. The athlete's original clock should be on the board. The clock will normally reset by its own. Do not reset it unless you are sure it's not functioning correctly. Once the clock starts on a different athlete, the first called athlete no longer gets a 2 minute clock. Have that in mind. It is the clock starting, not the calling of the athlete, that affects the clock. And at last, on the clock, the timekeeper must press the break time between the snatch session and the clean and jerk session. 10 minutes. And you remember, when we have 6 athletes and more, it's 10 minutes. If we have 5 athletes and less, it will be 15 minutes. If we have 15 athletes and more, and that happens in our championships, it will be only 5 minutes of break between the snatch and the clean and jerk. Okay, that's the end of the timekeeping. Do you have any questions? Anything at all you would like to say, or maybe you had an experience? No, it's quiet.
Well, just
Yes.
an observation. I've only tried doing the speaker and the timekeeper once in local competitions, and you know, it seems very straightforward, but it's really tricky because if you're slow at doing calling or doing the clock and stuff, then it slows the whole competition down. That was one of the things Sean would say to me. The speaker keeps the show on the road at a good pace, because once they announce the weight, the loader's loaded, and they're keeping everything moving, which is the critical piece to keep it on time. So I suppose that's, I would say, a more reason why people are a bit reluctant to do it. It's not so much their voice, but it's just the pressure you're under. But I am practicing more, so I hope at some stage I will be able to. The other thing I think you said is true about with the international competitions. You do really have to go in and introduce yourself to each client and ask them how they pronounce their name, and actually write it down phonetically, or otherwise you never get it right.
Yes.
You know, there is, it's just, and it's the right thing to do, just to respect that you're giving their name the proper pronunciation rather than butchering it, you know. So
yes, absolutely,
that's a very good point.
And that is why the speaking, the competition speaker on international level is not for everyone.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
If you have people who have very heavy accents,
yeah,
then it's very difficult.
yeah.
Very, very difficult then for athletes to understand that they've been called up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
no, that was all. It's just, I hope I will at some point be able to volunteer to do something, because I do like the idea of doing it as well, but it's just I need more practice.
Sit next to us in Belgium or where to any championship you come, and you'll get there. I'm sure you will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it's very crucial to make sure that the voice that we have can be somehow as neutral as possible, because in international championships, you must be able to pronounce somehow the name of the athlete, you know, as best as possible, because athletes are not there standing in front of the scoreboard or the attempt board to find out whenever they are on. So, and in masters weightlifting, not everybody has coach. Some are coming all by themselves. So it's very important. Okay. Any questions?
Sorry, Denise. Sometimes I come upon speakers who think they're comedians. You know, they start making jokes or making comments about lifters.
That's okay. Well, you have there's a difference between a technical speaker and an entertainer speaker, sort of.
Yeah. But I would imagine you want a proper technical speaker. I mean, rather than, you know, somebody who's sort of making clever remarks.
Well, okay. I think the speaker should know where the limits are, but to have some entertainment in the speaking is nice and interesting, as long as it is appropriate, of course. Yeah. As long as it is appropriate. But other than that, the technical speaking is definitely a must.
Yeah.
But in our you know, because weightlifting, as you see, we don't get a lot of audience, right? We don't get a lot of audience. So even in IWF events, they don't get audience. Very little comparing to many other sports. So it has been introduced to have a technical speaker and an entertainer speaker, both, you know, so to make it more alive, to fill up the gap more, and it has been very successful.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. So depending, you know, as long as remarks are in a very positive and nice way that is suitable to everybody, so it be. Why not? Okay. Yeah. Right. I got a question here. More than 15 packs the break is 5 minutes between snatch and clean and jerk. Is this applied commonly? Well, in Masters Weightlifting and International Masters Weightlifting, yes, yes. We have sessions where we are more than 15 athletes, and we then apply 5 minutes. And the 5 minutes are more than enough. Why? Because it's in the sequence, in the warm-up area, it clears up by itself. The ones who start with lower weight and then ending up finishing early enough to give the space to those who are coming slowly in. We never had any clashes or any problems so far. Okay, well, if you are then ready, I think we go to our last one here, the jury. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, are you all able to see this?
Yes.
Yes, okay, right. Of course, the basics for the jury and jury president is you must know all the IWF and also the current IMWA technical rules. No? What you need as a basic is get a protocol sheet, which is usually on your table. And if it is not on your table, please ask at the IT table to get a protocol sheet for the jury. Get 3, and then put them on a table and look where you sit. Make sure that you are already aware where you sit, because during the technical official's presentation, even through the athlete's presentation, you don't need to be in the warm-up area. You must sit in your place where you are assigned to be. Yeah. So be impartial and assertive to all lifters, regardless which nation, including your own. Already for the referees and for all technical officials, we are no police force. So there is a right way and a respectful way, and there's a wrong way. The jury must wait to judge until the barbell has touched the ground again. That means on the jury table, there is a laptop that is part of the whole competition system. And there are, like the referees, the jury members, each one has their button to give a good or a no lift. But you must wait until the barbell has come back on the ground. You know, you cannot just, as soon as the down signal comes up, like the timing of the referees, you cannot do that. You have to wait until the barbell is on the ground. Use common sense rather than chasing mistakes or to be too relaxed in any decision. We already addressed that on Friday during the referees. It must be still weightlifting. It's very important. It must be still weightlifting, and it doesn't matter what age we are. And why? Because it is weightlifting that we are, that the championship is all about. And in the best interest of any age of athlete, the technical rules of a lift is the safest way to stay away from injury. Okay, it's the safest way. If you allow to be to an athlete too relaxed and you pass everything, then that athlete thinks it's okay the way I train, and then very soon injuries come. It must be common sense, and it must be still weightlifting. At all IMWA Worlds and Continental Master Championships, we have a 3-bench jury. And then each jury member must be Category 1 technical official of the IWF or an IMWA. The jury has the ultimate control on the field of play, and its primary function is to ensure that the technical competition rules are being correctly followed and applied. So, by any jury decision or reversal decision, whatever, the jury is not a jury of appeal. There is no appeal against a jury's decision. And don't forget, we don't have video replay either. There's no athlete's challenge card and no video replay in Masters weightlifting. What must each jury member be? Be friendly and courteous, be wearing the correct uniform, be aware of and sensitive to language, culture, and religious differences, promote a safe and harassment-free environment where participants are treated with respect, judgment by using the jury control unit after the barbell returned back on the platform, be fair, firm, and decisive, use common sense, and be able to act as a manual scorekeeper if required and requested by the jury president, mainly, especially when there is electricity failure. Each jury member must not do. Please do not attempt to influence the decisions of your colleagues, of the other jury members or referees, and must not use devices like tablet or phone for personal use during the competition. The responsibility of the jury president is to communicate in English. The jury president must converse fluently in English to assess technical difficulties and offer the guidance. Work cooperatively and collaboratively. Assert the degree of authority. Be objective in decision-making. Be discerning and not be easily influenced, nor attempt to influence. Act and react in a calm manner. Be proactive rather than reactive. Be respectful and courteous to colleagues and actually to everybody. From coaches, athletes, babies, oldies, volunteers, it doesn't matter. We have to be respectful. Be open to learn from extensive international experience as a technical official. And that means that a jury president doesn't mean that he knows everything and that he doesn't, he doesn't not need to learn anything. We always learn from every session. We do. We always learn. The president of the jury controls and signs all technical officials' cards. At all IMWA events, the jury president shall appoint an individual to complete a manual protocol as a backup document. The jury president signs a protocol sheet after the end of each session, and the president of the jury assigns a jury member to keep eye contact with the technical controller after each lift. So that means that the technical officials of that session, you need to bring your booklet because it needs to be signed. You leave your booklet on the jury's table. You hand it over to the jury president during the presentation of the technical official at the end when you pass by at the jury table and shake hands, whatever, to get ready for the competition. So don't forget your booklet. Important for the smooth running of a competition, the jury to keep eye contact with the technical controller. After each attempt, of course, there might be decision reversal, bar cleaning, outfit issue, etc. So the jury may stop the competition when the jury president is looking at other members, left and right, in a serious manner. Then most probably the jury may stop the competition. However, at all IMWA events, a 3-bench jury is appointed. And the rules of this is as follows. Unless unanimity is reached in the first instance, the jury cannot take any action even if the decision of the referees appear to be totally incorrect. If the jury unanimously agrees that the lift should have been passed or failed, and that differs from a majority of the referee's decision, in order to consider the reversal of a decision, the president of the jury must do the following. Order that the competition be stopped, informing both the TC and speaker. In case of the jury president calls the referees in question for an explanation, he or she must ask the members of the jury if they accept or reject the referee's explanation. If the explanation is accepted by the jury, no action is taken and the competition is ordered to restart. If the explanation is not accepted, the decision must be reversed on the screen. Now request the technical controller to communicate this decision and its reason to the speaker, and then requested that such decision and its reason be announced to the public and of course to the athlete and coach concerned. After that, order the restart of the competition. So we have the jury console or the jury laptop in front of us, in front of the jury president. Whenever the jury decides to stop the competition, the jury president must act immediately by pressing the technical stop jury button. So every competition system has that. Regardless of every competition system on the jury has a technical stop button somewhere. So you press it. Number one. Then after the discussion and whatever has been decided, reverse of decision, you click on that. And then to get back to the competition, to continue, you click on number 3, which means resume back to the competition. So whenever there is a jury stop, you must immediately click the technical stop as jury president. Through the jury screen, the jury can call the technical controller and each referee separately. You have that as well on all the competition systems. You can call up the TC. It can be done either through the speaker if the TC is near the speaker, which usually is the case. And you can also call up referee 1, 2, or 3, the side, the left, the center, or the right referee. And like a noise or the light or both of it will come up through the button that the referees have on their table. And then they know they've been called up. When jury reverses the decision to a good lift, here is an example. You can see on the first attempt on the scoreboard is highlighted. You can see that 185 kilograms, first attempt. On the second, it has become a no lift of the majority decision by referees. The jury decided for a technical stop at the jury table because the jury decided to reverse that decision to a good lift. You can see that down on the 4th piece. And you see that on the 3rd picture down, the decision by the referees is red. And then after the jury decided for a reverse decision, it becomes green. And that is the 4th picture below. And now you can see that the first attempt of 185 kilograms is shown on the scoreboard as a good lift. When jury reverses the decision to a no lift, same athlete's second attempt, 1 kilo increase. On the second picture, you can see good lift majority decision by referees. The jury decided for a technical stop and decided to reverse the decision of the referees to a no lift. So here you can see the picture number 3 down is green, and then it becomes red after the reverse decision of the jury. And then you can see on the scoreboard that the second attempt of the same lifter has become a no lift. Jury decision-making process for attempts with loading errors. If the barbell is loaded to a lighter weight than the one requested by the athlete may, if he or she wishes, either accept the attempt if it was successful or refuse it. If he or she refuses the attempt, the athlete is granted an additional attempt with the weight originally requested. If the barbell is loaded to a weight which is not a multiple of 1 kilo and the lift is successful, The athlete may accept the attempt at the next lower weight or refuse it. If the athlete refuses the attempt, he or she is granted an additional attempt with the weight originally requested. If the barbell is loaded to a heavier weight than the one requested by the athlete may, if he or she wishes, accept the attempt if it was successful. If the attempt is not successful, or if the barbell is not a multiple of 1 kilo, the athlete is automatically granted an additional attempt with the weight originally requested. In what cases the jury must grant an additional lift to a lifter? If a lift is failed because the barbell is not equally loaded, or the platform is damaged, or the barbell becomes disarranged during the lift, or there is an incursion or any other external interference, the jury must grant an additional attempt for the affected athlete. If the speaker makes a serious error during the announcement of an athlete's name or the calling of the weight, the jury must grant another attempt. I was at the European Senior Championship in Georgia as jury president, and I can tell you that we had a situation where the timekeeper, and at the European championships, the timekeeper is separately. It's alone. It's not the speaker and the timekeeper. The timekeeper just made a mistake, and the clock was running from the previous lifter, didn't stop it, and the new lifter was announced and came in running the last second, thinking it was the clock of her lift, and missed the lift because it was just too short of a time. We noticed that, and it was the first time in my career as technical official to grant an additional lift to the lifter. And then the lift was actually a good lift then. In addition, the president of the jury has the following specific responsibilities: supervise the referee light system control panel and call the referees for explanation whenever needed. Monitor the decision of both the referees and the jury. Operate the jury control panel accordingly. Communicate with technical controllers, timekeeper, chief marshals, competition management, and of course the speaker by technical jury stop. Assign a manual scorekeeper within the jury, and enable TOs to remove their jacket by hot weather, or by a hot venue. As I already mentioned in the beginning, in Masters weightlifting, we don't use challenge cards, and therefore no video replay system is used. And that is for all our championships, whether continental or World Masters championships. And that's the end of the jury, president, and jury members. Do you have any questions? Or any remarks, or maybe anything you would like to share with us, an experience? Okay. There's one thing that that we must always make sure. The jury, all the three juries, we must be able to see the full competition platform. When it is on the podium, when the podium is too high, we might not be able to see the feet. So when you see that you cannot see the full competition platform, you must let us know for whatever reason. Lately, the competition platforms are mostly on the ground, and it's also for financial reasons. And for me, it's actually, I think it's good because it makes it easier. We are always sure that we can see the whole competition platform and therefore the whole athlete complete, from top to the feet. But if there's anything from wherever you sit, you cannot see everything, you must let us know so that we can take care of this. Maybe there is, I don't know, a camera somewhere stored, and it's blocking the view. Whatever it is, you must let us know. Okay. So there are no questions, as I can see.
One thing, if the jury can only reverse the decision if all 3 members of the jury are at the same decision.
Yes, if all the 3 jury agree, immediately after the lift has done, the jury president looks to the left, looks to the right and asks. And immediately, if all the 3 react immediately, say, yeah, no, stop, then that must be made, yes. But if it is only 2, it cannot be done. And therefore, sometimes lifts are passed that there might be very obvious no lifts, and we cannot do anything. No, we cannot do anything. And that is why also for referees, we allow only cut 2 or cut 1 to sit in the center referee. No? A national can sit sidewise and cut 1 or cut 2. No? And only those who want to sit exams, they must sit in the center referee. But for them to be allowed to sit exams, we know, we have the data that they have officiated so many times because there are requirements of how many sessions as referee, as marshal, and so on, so that somebody can sit the exams. Yeah. So we try to have the highest standard of officiating as possible.
I can say, Denise, I can say from the Finnish national championships that we had, it's not only the reverse order to get the lift red, but it can be also white. And we got few times we changed to white, and we got a big applause.
Yes, of course. It's not about the reverse decision does not always mean to no lift. You know, it can be a good lift. No, it can be a good lift, of course. Yeah, but whatever comes up, we don't discuss the matters with coaches when they're coming up from the angle that they see it. They cannot judge. And also, we know that when you make a video with your little telephone, it looks completely different than in reality. You know, it looks completely different. And also, we must many times people come and say, oh, but this looks like a good lift or whatever, you know, and then they go to slow motion. But the slow motion means practically everything is a no lift, because it is true. Yeah? The elbows, especially when you look at it in slow motion, then it is a no lift. So that's why in IWF events you don't have slow motion for the challenge card or the video replay, only when there is a knee touch. Only then you are allowed slow motion, not for any other mistake that somebody might see. Yeah. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, then I say I stop the recording.